Hello and welcome to our course Marketing Management Part 2. I am Shashi Shekhar Mishra and I am offering this course with my senior colleague Professor Jayanta Chatterjee. We are in week 3, this is session 3, and we are talking about a very important topic, which is branding. Branding is one topic which interests to most of the people who wants to study the branding. So, please recall to the previous session where we started talking about the customer based brand equity, and we have looked into the three important aspect of that customer based brand equity. Is that customer based brand equity is exists because of the differential response from the customers, because they have a brand knowledge, and the customers this differential response get reflected in the consumer response to various marketing programs towards the brand. So, we started talking about this brand knowledge, and I have tried to explain you this concept of brand knowledge with respect to this associative network memory model in the previous session, where I have told that a brand gets registered in the mind of a customer as a brand node. I gave you an example of Patanjali, where you have this brand node being created in your brand. If you remember, or you can recall, or you can recognize this brand, then this brand node Patanjali exists in your mind as basically one node, and this with this Patanjali you have different associations in your mind, the different kind of associations, and this the various kind of associations in the form of Ayurvedic, authentic, Indian trust, honest price, they as a total or as a whole form the certain kind of image about health in the mind of the customers. So, this was basically the way to make you understand how the brand knowledge is getting created. Now, if we look into this brand knowledge as a term or as a basically a construct, we see that the brand knowledge consists of two things. If you remember that the first thing that you have to understand about brand is that first the brand has to get registered in the mind of the customer as a brand node. So, for that basically you have to have the brand awareness, that strength of the brand node or the trace in memory. So, the strength with which the Patanjali is registered in your mind, consumers ability to identify the brand under different conditions. So, how much you can recognize or remember the brand, and what is its strength, whether you can remember the brand without any aid, or without any giving you any cue, or whether you can remember, you can still remember a brand with given certain cues, is formed under this brand awareness. The second thing is that you recognize or you remember a brand, the brand is being registered in your brain. The second thing that comes in the mind when we talk about the brand knowledge, the second dimension of this brand knowledge is the brand image, that you recognize the brand, but with every brand you will see that you have a certain kind of perceptions, or you have certain kind of associations. So, we see that if a brand has to be if a brand image, we call it as a brand image, and if brand image has to have any meaning from the firm's perspective, it has to have a strong, favorable and unique image in the mind of the customer. We look into this brand awareness and brand knowledge in further detail. Is that brand awareness again can be divided into two things. One thing is that brand awareness, the first dimension is brand recognitions, that consumers ability to confirm prior experience to the brand when given the brand as cue. So, how much you can recognize the brand if you are given a cue. So, when you go to a store, when you go to a kirana shop, and when you see a certain kind of cues inside in the shop or in a particular shopping environment, you can recognize about the brand. If you see the color, the background color, if you see the symbols attached, logo attached with the brand, you can recognize what this brand is, and that is what this brand recognition is. The second thing is this brand recall. This brand recall is basically consumers ability to retrieve the brand from memory when given cues. So, when you are given cues about the category, the product category, the needs being satisfied by the brand or the various uses situation, how can you recall the brand? So, that is what this the second dimension of brand awareness is. If you see this under different purchase decision situations, you will see that brand recognition and brand recall have different roles. So, when point of purchase is something which is important in the purchasing decision making process, you will see that brand recognition is something which is more important, that you go to a place and if you are shown certain cues or when you see the brand, you can basically recognize it. And when you are in a away setting from the shopping environment, and there probably if you need to, if you can recall the brand in those situations, that probably the brand recall is more important. So, you will see that in the case of online purchase or certain other situations, the brand recall is even more important. Brand recall is also even more important in evaluation and choice of the brand, in the sense if you cannot recall a brand, if you do not remember the brand, what happens is that we have the tendency that we do not keep those kind of options in our consideration set. And as we also know that human brains have a limited information processing capacity. So, you can only process certain number of brands. So, when you have one particular brand as you can recall brand, you can also understand that you leave the chance for other brands to be remembered in the mind of the consumer. So, the brand recall is also important from that perspective, that it basically helps your brand to be considered, as well as you are keeping your competition outside from the consideration set. Now, I will try to explain this concept of brand awareness through an example, but how do you create this brand awareness is also very important. So, to create the brand awareness, we need to increase the familiarity of the brand through repeated exposure to develop brand recognition. So, when we see a particular brand at a very regular interval or probably repetitively, so our familiarity with the brand also increases, and that helps in increasing the brand recognition. I will try to explain this through an example now. Then the second thing is that establishing strong associations with the appropriate product category or other relevant purchase or consumption cues help in creating the brand recall. So, when your brand is attached with a particular product category very strongly, so when we talk about noodles, probably the Maggi comes in our mind. When we talk about what you say, that the photocopy with the Xerox comes in the mind, and in fact Xerox is synonymous with the photocopying. Likewise, you have so many brands like Band-Aid from the Johnson and Johnson, and the Dettol is attached with this probably this antiseptic that is being used for cut and avoiding the germs. So, there are these kind of brands which are attached with the product category or which are relevant to certain kind of user situation. If your brand is strongly attached with those kind of things, the brand recall will be high. I will try to explain you this through one example. I think this is one of the best example of creating the brand awareness, the two dimensions of the brand, which is brand recognition and brand recall. So, if you see this Amul girl, which is a very popular Mascot from the Amul. Amul is a brand for Anand Milk Union Limited from the Gujarat, and Amul also literally means that it is a invaluable or extremely high of high value. So, if you remember this brand, one thing which you will remember is the brand Mascot is being used to very commonly in the hoardings which are put across the city or your towns across the India. And what they do is that this brand Mascot is attached with the latest or the most relevant thing which are happening in our society. So when the Nano was launched, you can see that when the Nano was launched, this ad came from there, that Nano ya Namano, and then there are so many examples that Arnab Goswami's interview was captured in this interview of Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. It was captured, the hoarding came. Then you have very social issues where the violence against the women, the brand also tried to create certain kind of awareness of being fearless and trying to face those situations. PM Modi's campaign of Achhe Din was captured in this hoarding. I will show you a couple of more examples that in IPL, when the IPL was going on, they tried to capture certain events, popular events of that. The IPL commissioner, when he was involved in the controversy, Aam Aadmi Party's chief was involved in certain controversy, or the famous slap by Harbhajan Singh, which costed him, which was said to be one of the costliest slap, because it costed him crores. And the latest one being the movie which has just come up, which is this Urta Panchab, which is in controversy. So you see, they are time and again they are coming up with this kind of hoardings which are relevant to current situation. And now what happens is, you will see that brand Amul is always attached with this kind of situation. At the background you will see that Amul comes with taglines like good tha butter, or if you see in the previous thing like first class yet economical, or Amul is attached time now for Mascot. So these kind of things are always put in those hoardings, which basically amuses the person who is going through it. And also then what happens is, since these are very socially relevant, the customer notices the brand, and in this way, because of the repeated exposure, the customer remembers that, recognizes whenever they will see that this Mascot, or whenever they see this Amul, they can recognize the brand very easily. And the second thing is that about brand recall, the brand recall is also very strong in the mind of the customer, because they are seeing this kind of content, and which is getting registered in their mind. So the second thing inside this brand knowledge is, after brand awareness, is this brand image. So brand image is about creating a positive brand image, requires building a strong, favorable and unique association in the mind of the consumer. So you will see that brand image has three dimensions, which are like a strong, favorable and unique image in the mind of the customer. So strong is about you have very strongly that brand is registered in your mind, and the strength is basically is proportional to how much the brand is relevant to your personal situation or a particular situation you are in, and also it is dependent on the consistency of the message over the period of time. When these two things are present, generally the brands are have a very strong image in the mind of the customer. The second thing is favorability. Now the favorability of a brand image is dependent on two things. One is the desirability, and the second thing is deliverability. So desirability is like is getting captured in these properties, like how relevant is the brand, how distinctive is the brand, or how believable the promise of the brand is. The second thing that is there in the favorability is that deliverability, that how much the performance can be delivered, how much it can be communicated, the message can be communicated to the target customer, and how coherent the message is over the period of time, or how overall the consistency of the brand is over the period of time. The third thing which is there is uniqueness of the brand. So uniqueness of a brand gets created through these two terms, that point of parity and the point of difference. I have talked about this uniqueness concept in the previous class also, that every product category have a certain characteristics commonly every product category is recognized by certain characteristics or the certain norms. I gave you the example of this. If you look into this tomato ketchup or sauce category, every brand is almost there with the red color of their product. If you come out with a different color in that product category, customers will not recognize or may not be able to place your brand in that product category. There was a time when this Rin was launched. The Rin was already working very well in the India, but when it was launched in the Pakistan, it did not succeed because the color in which the product category was associated in India was in the fabric wash category. The color of the color of that product in the Pakistan was basically of dishwashing category. So, people associated that Rin brand there with the dishwashing category, and they started using as a dishwasher. So, now what happened was though it was the Rin was even very successful in that product category, dishwashing category, but Rin was not attaining the kind of volume that was expected from the brand, because dishwashing was much less as a market size compared to the fabric washing segment. So, the company has to work on that, and they once certain kind of associations are attached with your brand, it is very difficult to change them. So, Rin has to work really hard in those situations, and they have to basically make certain changes in their marketing program to establish the Rin as a basically a fabric wash. So, establishing for a brand that it belongs to a certain product category is very important for the customer to consider in their purchase decision making process. And the second thing is that when we talk about the point of difference, so differentiation gets created by this point of differences in the mind of the customers. So, you need to have certain things which is very distinctive from the other brands in the market, or if you are offering a particular benefit, your performance level on those benefits should be extremely high or considerably different from your competitors, and in that case only you will be able to create a very unique position for your brand. So, I can just sum up with this what we have discussed till now is that this brand building or building brand equity happens through three steps basically. Is that you have a certain tools and objectives to establish your brand with certain kind of image, and this tools are used to create a certain kind of consumer knowledge, and once the consumer knowledge is getting created, certain kind of branding benefits can be seen in the mind of the customer. So, the entire this brand building process can be shown in this slide. You have three ways in which you can create a brand. Is that the brand perceptions are created is that by choosing certain elements, that is brand name, logo, symbol, character, packaging, slogan. These are the different brand elements that can be chosen at first place to create certain kind of perceptions about your brand. Then you have your marketing mix, and the third thing is that you can use secondary associations. So, I will stop my session here, and when we will meet in the next session, we will start from this slide, and we will look into much more detail about the entire this process of brand building, which is starting from the brand building and its objective, and then how we create the knowledge and what are the benefits of the brand. Thank you very much.